Chicken Little is very, very bad. If truth be told, I never really watched this movie as a kid. Like, cute animation really mattered to me, and this film was ugly.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
But as you become the absolute cinephile I am today, your taste grows. So I thought maybe I'll check it out since I love most Disney films. And who knows, maybe it was a hidden masterpiece. I have now watched this movie and can instead confirm I want to jump off the deep end.
Oh my god!
It was terrible, and this is not a sentiment that is shared by only me, because most people say that it's the worst Disney movie by a landslide, and it's not funny, and it's weirdly disturbing among a whole other sea of criticisms. But still, no one really talks about why this movie is so bad on the internet. Most of the criticism is aimed at Buck alone, which is weird considering how every aspect of this movie makes you feel pain. So today, we're going to go through absolutely everything wrong with this abomination of mankind, and why it is in fact one of the worst movies ever made. So strap in, and let's go into the deep dark waters of Chicken Little. And subscribe. Because I have none.
We do not care.
Buck the Cluck is a villain. Straight and simple. Not only is he a terrible person, but the things he does in this movie are downright disturbing. I mean, let's take the opening. So basically, Chicken Little claims that the sky is falling, putting the whole town into chaos, but eventually it seems like he might have just been hit with an acorn instead. Now, Buck Cluck has to do something with the whole town bearing down on his son. He can do A, which is back his son and actually try and let him elaborate his story. He could do B, which is to do nothing and take his son away from the action. Or C, which is immediately make his son look like a fucking idiot and completely dismiss his story, blaming it on an acorn. Guess what he picks?
It was just an acorn.
What makes it even stupider is that Buck was literally a baseball hero. I mean, people love this guy, so people would probably believe Chicken Little if he backed him up. Also, the movie shows that he doesn't even really care about being adored by others anyway, so it makes no sense why he wouldn't just use the respect he has in the town to back him. Like, my guy, do you just not like your kid? So yeah, the very first scene of the movie establishes that this guy is a pretty bad dad, but surely he can't get any worse than this, right? Right?
Wrong.
Well, we fast forward to a year later and the town are now making a movie about how dumb Chicken Little is because, well, they're a bit disturbing too, but we'll get onto that later. Now, I mean, Buck must be outraged, right? I mean, they're bullying his child. He's got to do something. No, he, actually tells of his son and emotionally distances from him because he's being bullied. Okay. One sec. What the fuck? Like, this is actually vile. It's your damn kid, and you're literally emotionally abusing him when he needs you most. Telling him to play a game of hide and seek forever. I'm not kidding, he literally says that.
It would be better for you just to lay low, don't call attention to yourself. Yeah, game of hide and seek, except the gold is never to be found. Ever.
Emotional damage!
And yeah, I guess the movie does call him out on this later, but it doesn't feel earned because it glosses over his horrible actions so quickly. I mean, my boy Chicken Little is trying anything to get his dad's attention, even coming up with the idea to join the baseball team. Now at this point, Buck has to say anything positive. No, actually, scratch that. All he has to do is give Chicken Little a pat on the back, but no. This man just can't resist abusing children. So instead of giving Chicken Little the confidence boost that he clearly needs in his depressing life, he actively tries to stop Chicken Little from playing so that he doesn't embarrass himself. And of course, Buck the Cluck. But no, it's okay because this douche is sad. Hey Cluckface, do you think maybe he's a sad loser because he has no confidence? Don't you think you should give him that unconditional support and love that a father should give his son, instead of telling him every fucking day that he's a bag of shit and should disappear? I mean, do you think it's okay for your son to say this?
Prepare to hurt, and I don't mean emotionally like I do.
What the hell?
Of course, I'm not an expert in the subject, but if my parents told me as a 6-year-old child every day that I was worthless, then I would not live until the age of 30. Kids at this age are at their most vulnerable, with everything being said to them pretty much making up who they are in the future. So telling your kid to basically die every day, I don't think is very good. I mean, this is personal for me because I had periods in my life where I had no confidence in myself, and this affects every part of your life, your friends, your personal life, your work, your hobbies, anything. So imagine a kid half my age dealing with these problems by himself, with the world actively telling him that he's a massive pile of poo. And yeah, Buck still can't find it within himself to say something positive. What is wrong with you? But I mean, at least he apologizes for his actions, right? Oh, he actually does. Chicken Little eventually goes off on him about all the things I've just said, and Buck claims he has no idea, which first I have to say,
What? What the fuck?
oh, sorry, son. I didn't think emotionally distancing myself from you when you needed it most was very bad for you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Like, this man is actually the most emotionally stupid person I think I've ever seen. But you know what? In the Chicken Little fandom's defense, the apology is kind of believable and works. What makes it worse, however, is how he jokes about how bad a dad he was at every opportunity.
Okay, what now, son? Who, by the way, I support 100%. I stink at this. I'm a horrible father.
Okay.
No, I am. Thighs hurting, drumsticks burning. Ooh. But loving you.
The one that left him behind. That's bad parenting. And I should know.
One, it's not funny, and two, it feels like he's mocking the whole supportive dad thing, which makes his apology infinitely worse because it feels like he was just taking the piss out of it all along. Cluck this guy, man.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Okay, so we've established that Buck is pretty much a psychotic maniac hell-bent on bullying his son, but surely the other characters must be okay, right? Chicken Little is boring. He has no personality apart from being bullied, he's got no goals or ambitions or anything that makes him a remotely interesting character, including his character design. It's just so basic and tells me nothing about him, apart from the fact that he's weak. Wow, what a relatable character. This movie's amazing. Can't you see him having so much fun? Also, his friends are not much better. I hate the pig with all of my being. His character is literally just a device to make poop and fat and dumb jokes. It has all the subtlety of a missile launcher. I don't even remember his name. Master Runt of Litter. What type of fucking name is that? Oh yeah, and look at this. We have 3 characters called Goosey Lucy, and Foxy Loxy, and Morcupine Porcupine. Man, these people really didn't care about this movie, did they?
Well, duh.
And then we have Ugly Girl. She's ugly. But the characters that suck the most is definitely the townsfolk. There are actually evil people that actively try and bully a young child, which is made even more stupid considering how dumb they are. When Chicken Little says danger, they don't straight away ask maybe what the problem is, and instead start screaming and destroying everything in the town. Here's a list of the things they managed to do inside a minute of Chicken Little saying this. Smack over 3 trash cans. A firefighter destroys a car. A random guy assaults 5 people. A lady manages to destroy an entire tower, killing multiple people, smashing 3 cars and destroying a movie theater and presumably killing all the people in the cinema. Yes, canonically Chicken Little is a murderer, please arrest him on sight. And the town decides to do all of this off of one kid who is shown to be a maximum of 7 years old who claims there is an emergency. Okay. So clearly they are not the smartest cookies in the box. So why are you making fun of a 6-year-old for saying something stupid? And all the damage was caused by them, not Chicken Little, so they should be blaming themselves. And do I have to mention this again? He's 6. Bro, when I was 6, I started crying when I lost my stuffed rat and locked myself in a toilet with the lights turned off for 2 hours. They do stupid stuff. It's how they learn. So why are they bullying this kid so hard for no reason? And if that weren't enough, they don't just blame him for the mess they caused. No. They decide to publicly humiliate him for a whole year. Let me just name a couple of the things they do in this time span. They make a book about how dumb he is, a movie about how dumb he is, a board game, spoons, websites, commemorative plates, microwaves, billboards, bumper stickers, posters. Like what? Why are they so obsessed with abusing this kid? And can I say again, it's a year later. But I guess the movie is okay with this though, because the townspeople are never called up on this. Okay, this movie has officially broke my brain in more ways than I can count. Just move on to the next section. Chicken Little has possibly the most confusing plot I've ever seen in an animated movie. Like, I'm pretty sure Norm of the North had a more well thought out plot than this, and it's never good when every plot point confuses you to no end. Well, let's get started. So in the first few seconds of the movie, Cluck starts speaking to the audience, proving he is the reincarnation of Satan that has come to haunt us forever. Completely unrelated, but I thought I'd let you know. And then, the first 30 minutes of the movie is literally just dedicated to showing how Chicken Little gets bullied by his dad, people in school, yada yada yada, and his luck is generally awful. You know, I could watch an episode of The Office or play a game of FIFA, but no. Instead, I am watching a child get tortured for 20 minutes. They didn't even need to do this. Like, we know his life is terrible in the first 5 minutes, so it feels like they just resort to bullying children to pad the movie. It's almost as if they put no effort into this pile of poo. And it's only 81 minutes including credits, and they still can't think of anything to fill the plot. That is a new level of creative bankruptcy, and it's kind of impressive. And then we go into a baseball plot, which is really boring. They could have easily used this time to give Chicken Little something like character traits or make Buck the Cluck a little more likable, but what do I know? I'm just a stupid 16-year-old who's actually wasting my life talking about a movie where they think psychologically abusing children is okay. But, you know, at least we know where we're going. The plot is coherent, so it feels like a slightly focused narrative, which I guess is a positive. But then, oh my days, aliens! Where did this come from? There was no build-up. It's just suddenly the sky is falling for the first time in 40 minutes, and then boom, aliens. At least have the aliens in the background so we don't forget they're there. And I mean, the obvious questions you would probably ask would be, why have the aliens come to the planet? Why do they want to conquer it? How does their ship turn invisible? How does aliens have anything to do with the sky falling? Is any of this explained?
No.
I mean, couldn't you have incorporated some clues or hints? I mean, aliens is a pretty big bombshell, an explanation would be nice. And, you know, instead of a normal movie where you ramp up the tension for a bit before the final battle to make it more impactful, nah, let's just bum around on an alien spaceship and go straight into the final battle. Who cares about good storytelling? I just want action. And the final battle itself is just pure garbage. So the aliens accidentally left their son on Earth, so they've come back to find him, and Chicken Little and the gang have to get him back. But in a twist of events, the robots kill Chicken Little, and Thanos uses the gauntlet to snap everyone out of existence in this town, so they die. Just kidding, that's just what I wanted to happen. Instead, they just beat up all of the robots because for some reason, Cluck is now an omnipotent god who is a master of kung fu. He can never do that before, but whatever at this point. And then the pig says a bunch of really funny jokes and screams, "I will survive." And then the song, "I Will Survive" plays in the background. See, that's a knee slapper because he is in danger. And he's saying he will survive. Like the song. You see, because at first place, you think there'll actually be a bit of conflict because Chicken Little and the gang have been captured for interrogation by the aliens. But all they have to do is hand over their son and all is well and good and they help clean up the mess? I thought you wanted to invade the planet. Did they forget? Also, the lack of tension in this climax is kind of comical because even though the climax is 1/3 of the movie and has so much action and death, it's still boring because I'm rooting for nobody. I want Chicken Little to die. I want the pig to die. I want the duck to die. And I want this movie to die. And also, you have no idea what's going on because they just chuck a bunch of explosions on the screen and you just see Chicken Little and his gang beating up random people. There's no methodical way to get to the aliens. They're just randomly kung fuing everyone, so there's no flipping continuity. Anyway, this movie is over, and all the people love Chicken Little and make a movie about how great he is. In fairness, this does make sense because everyone in Chicken Little has the backbone of melted ice cream, but it's just so unsatisfying because it's so forced. I mean, they abused him for a whole year, and then because Chicken Little saved him, they love him. So they learn absolutely nothing, and they're probably going to bully a random 6-year-old later down the line. They're all idiots. Chicken Little is an idiot for taking back his dad, and Buck is an idiot because, well, he's psychotic. They both deserve each other, and I'm not going to keep talking about this terrible plot because it's literally writing diarrhea and it's rotting my brain. On to the next section. This might be a controversial opinion, but I think Chicken Little had the potential to be funny. Relax and hear me out. I think the movie style of writing is really quick, which could lead to some funny zany moments, like, you know, kind of Angry Birds 2 style comedy. And, you know, some moments are, like, kind of funny. but the writing most of the time is just so bad. Instead of using the quick pace of the movie to make lots of quick funny jokes, they just resort to making the most obnoxious Z-list DreamWorks comedy with terrible poop and fart humor and awful meta jokes that just make you want to die. Also, why does this movie feel the need to put in so many random pop culture references? Look at how many there are.
Darth Vader's Luke's father?
It's like War of the Worlds out there!
The people who watch this movie are like 5. They don't know what they mean. And I don't want to compare Shrek to Chicken Little because that masterpiece doesn't deserve to be compared with that utter pile of piss. But the pop culture references in that movie work even without the context and have some significance by themselves. Fiona's Matrix reference shows that she's not a normal princess, you know, that's pretty integral to the plot. And this isn't the only time they copy from Shrek either. I mean, the openings are the exact same, but Chicken Little just does it worse. In Shrek, the opening starts with the storybook for about a minute or so about a prince in shining armor, and then Shrek uses the pages as toilet paper and Smash Mouth starts to play.
Some donkey.
This is a really good opening because it subverts the traditional fairy tale story and feels integral to the movie because it creates a unique tone of crudeness that belongs particularly to Shrek. But Chicken Little's opening is so much better. I mean, it starts with a once upon a time beginning, and then it goes into a hilarious joke starting with the Lion King's opening scene, and then opening with a fairy tale book, and then scrapping that and just starting the scene. How funny! This doesn't work because the joke's not funny, it's too long, and it serves no purpose in establishing any sort of tone or identity to the movie, so it's literally useless. Also, if you're gonna subvert expectations, then maybe do it a bit later than 1 second into the movie, because the audience already has no expectations for the movie, so nothing is subverted. This is just storytelling 101, like why is this movie so bad? The thing as well is that they were going to do a storyboard opening, but they just didn't do it because they didn't think it'll be hip enough with the kids. Are you happy now, Disney? You think you're hip enough with the kids? Also, the songs are just so obnoxious. I mean, as I said before, the fat pig says, "I will survive." And then guess the song that plays after. I will survive. Ha ha, I'm dying of laughter. All you have to do is just read the title to understand why the producers inputted this song. It just reeks of laziness and a lack of understanding of why Shrek's score was so perfect. Shrek's pop music always enhances the tension or emotions, and each song was done to fit the context of the scene, not on name value, but on how the song progresses as well. I mean, look at the I Need a Hero scene. That scene would never be as iconic as it was if not for the booming vocals and beautiful accompanying song actively driving the excitement and tension because of how electric that song is, so it accentuates the emotions and actions of the scene. So basically what I'm saying is that good music actually makes the scene better, which Chicken Little clearly does not understand and wants to input a bunch of random pop songs because they cannot give a flying toss about this movie. However, this is nothing compared to the animation. It's so basic and lifeless, or it's just ugly. The worst problem definitely I'd have to say is the character design. I mean, look at this.
Brother, what's that?
It's horrifying to look at. And again, I have to say, $150 million went into this movie. And a year after, Ratatouille came out with the same budget and looks 10 times bigger, so they have no excuse. Also, why are the backgrounds so ugly? All the environments are literally one color. It's like they went on Microsoft and used the default colors that appear on the home tab. I mean, if we're being serious, does it even look better than Barnyard? And again, $150 million and they couldn't even blend colors. Even Shark Tale tried to do it and it had half the budget. And this movie literally comes from the studio that made Beauty and the Beast and Lion King. I mean, come on. I'm done. Just move on. So I've had a week just to let this movie stew on my mind before making my overall conclusion, because 1, my Fitbit started popping off at 130 BPM, and watching Chicken Little 3 times in a week has given me insomnia and depression. But I've come to this. Yes, it is an abomination on the senses and one of the worst movies ever made. It's not funny, the plot is terrible, it's butt-ass ugly, but most of all, it's just morally wrong on every level. But now, I think it holds a very special place in my heart. I mean, it's such a colossal failure on every level, even failing on basic ethics, which is just actually insane. And it's even funnier that this movie didn't come out of DreamWorks or Illumination or any studio that we know can make a stinker. but Disney. You know, the studio that has been nominated for Best Picture. And for me, a terrible movie is way better than an average one, so I would happily watch this over the usual trash Disney pumps out. So, yeah. This movie is absolute poo, but I'm still happy it exists. I would normally say now watch this movie and form your own opinion, but if you think this movie is a masterpiece, I will personally come to your house and burn all the electronics in your room so you can never voice your opinions on the internet again. So, no one say it so that I don't get arrested.